Hello and welcome to the new MYFC Podcast.
It's young Tom Phipps that's coming up on the left-hand side here.
Well, there's another player that's enjoyed a better first half than he did second, but he is a youngster and he's going to take time to play full pelt for 90 minutes.
Yeah, he worked very hard first half, and sort of 10-15 minutes he was tracking back a lot. If you remember rightly, Dorchester original tactics, he was doing a lot of backtracking. Maybe that's just taken out a little bit, but Tom Phipps, young player, he's one for the future.
And he's only going to get better with playing games. Pooley. Now, on paper, this Fleet side has got pace aplenty with Shakes on one side and Seeley on the other. Ranmarwa made good space for Chris Henry. Now Marwa moves towards the box. Ball crossed in. It's low. It's on the edge of the box.
Craig Stone!
Craig Stone! What a cracker!
Craig Stone! Edge of the box. Right foot shot, top corner. What a great strike there was.
Oh, Craig Stone!
The ball just fell absolutely perfectly into one bounce. Craig Stone, head over the ball, slams it into the top corner. Great strike.
Well, we've now had almost 5 minutes of time added on, and I've not got a clue why.
That's it, Chaz.
That's the end of the game. The Fleet win. Wixie, thank you very much indeed.
It's a pleasure.
We've enjoyed bringing you all the action. We'll be at Bromley in a few weeks' time. We'll be at any FA Cup game in between. And for now, BBC Radio Ken, thanks you for joining us. It's Barry Wickenden, the ubiquitous.
Hello and welcome to the new MyFC Podcast. I'm your host, Augustine Sasso. You can email me at augustine.sasso@myfootballclub.co.uk or at augiesasso@gmail.com. This is the 5th show and most likely the first on the brand new My Football Club website. Same address, myfootballclub.co.uk, but with a brand new look. Now, I started the show with the highlights from last week's away win at Dorchester. I've been on vacation, and what a better way to start off the show with those great highlights. I'd like to thank BBC Kent for letting me use those 2 snippets. Now, you may know that Craig Stone scored with about 10 minutes left in the game, and then I wanted to add the very last 30 seconds of the game, just to hear Charles sign off. And as you heard Charles say, the ref added on about 5 minutes of extra time. That still wasn't enough for Dorchester to win, or, as happened a lot last year, for Ebbsfleet to lose. I've got a short show for you. As I said, I was on holiday for about 2 weeks, and when I got back, I was still on holiday. I interviewed Charles last Friday, but just couldn't get the show up in time. My apologies. I still think you'll find Charles's interview interesting. I always find talking to Lord Chaz interesting, or I should say, he talks and I listen. Now, I had the usual audio difficulties, so you can't hear my question as I start the interview. I'm asking Lord Charles about the new striker Gareth Williams. Here then is my interview with Mr. Webster. Enjoy.
I don't know a tremendous amount about Gareth, although I've seen him play a few times, and he's always impressed me. He's an intelligent player. I don't know whether he can be characterised as a striker or a forward, but he's a busy player. He's a good finisher, he's got a good shot on him, and I think he's also very useful at set pieces. And he may well be the sort of foil that will work well as a link player between Callum Willock and the midfield players such as Michael West. So I think to have him as part of our attacking options is very good indeed. But I think the opportunity, from what I can understand, may have only arisen because of the problems that have befallen Croydon Athletic, who have pretty much disbanded their squad because of problems off the pitch, behind the scenes with their owner getting caught up in a scandal of match fixing involving cricket, of all things. But I think their players have been released, and Gareth was one of them. And I think we're very fortunate to get into Stonebridge Road.
Yeah, Yeah. Getting back a little bit to the Staines game. So there was a defensive lapse. I mean, we were up 1-0, and I guess we were up. It was Staines was we're down to 10 men. But then the Fleet gave up that goal, and so I was a little disappointed at the result.
Well, I think we were all disappointed with the result because we all hoped and expected that would be the first time win of the season. Having taken the lead through Callum Willock with a very good finish from a corner. But then we saw an attack from Staines where they set free a player called Ali Shaban, who had a very good game for Staines. And he found a gap in the middle of the Fleet defence, which was very uncharacteristic. But there was a big space that wasn't covered by the home back four. And he strode into it, brought down on goal and cracked the equaliser, which, frankly, it really, I think it devastated everybody at Stonebridge Road because we were in a fairly commanding position at 1-0, creating lots of chances but not finishing them. Mm-hmm. And you kind of got a sense of deja vu when the equaliser went in and you thought, golly, are we ever going to be able to turn, territorial advantage into a winning scoreline? And then they had the player sent off, which, it was like the Maidenhead game where they were reduced to 9 men and we couldn't overcome 9 men and we in fact lost the game. But on Saturday at least we got a point, which, isn't what we wanted, but it was better than nothing.
Yeah, I was away, and when I came back, I looked at our position in the table, and I thought, well, that was a little bit. I actually thought we did okay, except for the last game, and I thought, well, this team seems to be in a better position this year than last year, and then last year we had a very good finish, well, almost. So, does it seem to you that the team is gelling? A team will go through a certain rhythm throughout the whole season where they'll go on a hot streak, or they'll start to get cold, and I'm looking to see if this team is gelling. And do you think the team is starting to gel, play as a unit, despite the Staines game? Are they on an upward curve?
I think they're very, very close to being a successful side in this division. I think what we've seen is that we obviously brought in a lot of players during the close season, and some players have been outstanding, such as Paul Lorraine and Preston Edwards. They've taken their pre-season form into the league, and they've been outstanding in pretty much every game. Callum Willock is another one. Other players, Scott Ginty was on fire in pre-season. Then he picked up a hamstring injury in, I think, the second game or something. And so we've been deprived of his goal-scoring ability. But then there are other players that in pre-season, they caught the eye and they did enough for Liam Dage to offer them terms, players like Tyrone Seeley, for instance, and Joe Benjamin. But since the season's become, they've not really pushed on from the glimpses that we saw in pre-season. So I think, the situation we're in at the moment, we can tick some of the boxes and say, players like Derek Duncan returning has been outstanding at left back this season, but was missing last week. Michael West, outstanding so far this season. We can tick some pluses, but there are one or two others where there are still question marks. And certainly last week there were 2 really good chances that fell to Fleet players where they needed to shoot and put the ball in the back of the net. And from close range, they almost passed the ball back to the goalkeeper, and it really didn't trouble him. And maybe, just maybe, somebody like Gareth Williams will add that extra dimension and give the side a little more cutting edge to finish off what's been generally pretty good build-up play, but has just not had, as Liam said after the game, enough quality in the opposition penalty box.
Mm-hmm. Yeah. And I mean, I do think I agree with you that we're close. Definitely. Well, now, your thoughts on tomorrow's game? Let me just see here. So it was Upduck who predicted an away win.